Hello again everyone. In the previous tutorial we already created the first iteration of the multiple linear regression model and we found that Rome has the highest p-value, so this is the variable that should be excluded before any other variable. So to do that we need to keep this window to compare it with the next one and go to model, select ordinary squares, and this time go to Rome. Click on Rome and exclude it from this red arrow and click on OK. So we got here another measures. Let's have a look at them. We see now that the constant now has 3 stars. That means now it's more significant. And we found here that we got 2 independent variables significant, which are IT expenses and advertising expenses. And R square this time 50% and adjusted R square is almost 47%. Now we got some improvement in adjusted R square. And Gretl telling us this time to exclude Paris because it has the highest p-value. So if you go and look at Paris now, we see that Paris has 77%, which is the highest p-value in the independent variables. So let's keep this window here and let's go again and create another model. So select ordinary least squares and select Paris and exclude it from here and click on OK. Let's have a look at what we got this time. We have now adjusted R square 47%, which is higher than the previous one. The IT and advertising are still significant variables, and you can get all the other windows and put them together to make some comparison. So if you go, for example, to Gretl down and you can select one by one. So model 1 and model 2 and model 3. So you can put them in this order. Model 2 here and model 3 here. And you can compare what are the changes that you can find in each iteration. For example, if you look at the previous one, you see that the adjusted R square was almost 47%. But here it's 47% plus, so you get some improvement. And also if you look at the coefficients here, you can find some change also. So for example here, the IT coefficient was 47.8 and here is 47.9. And for staff training is 0.0444, here is 0.0447. So you got some increment here in the coefficients. So we are not done yet because still we got something to remove. So this is model 3, the last one, and saying that London should be removed because it has the highest p-value, which is now 77%. So even the p-values are changing every time, it's not staying the same. If you look at the London now, the p-value of London now is 77, and before in the previous model it was 69 and Paris was 70. So let's take this a little bit down and click on model and click on ordinary least squares and let this time exclude London and build the model again and let's have a look at it. And if you look this time, we got our adjusted R square is 48%, which is another improvement. So now we are getting more and more improvement in the prediction power of regression model while we are removing the insignificant variables. Still we have staff training here. So let's remember here what is the adjusted R square is 48.4. So let's remember that because we are going to remove now the staff training. We want to see what is the difference in adjusted R square. So let's keep this one here and let's go to the model ordinary least square and let's this time remove staff training. So remove it and click on OK. This time we got these 2 significant variables left, and this time the adjusted R square this time is 47, which is less than the previous one. So let's bring the previous window and have a look at it. The previous one was model 4 because this is model 5. Let's have a look at some measures. In model 4, we find that the staff training p-value was 0.17, so it's 17%. So that's why we had to remove it. But when we removed it, we got something else. Our R squared now reduced from 48 to 47. So we got a worse model compared to this one. And here the point that you should stop and think what you are supposed to do. Keep this one or remove it. From one side, you should think that you should remove it because this is more than 5%. But when we removed it, we got a less adjusted R square, which is less prediction power. And if you look at the coefficient here of the staff training, it is a little bit small. It's only 4%, which has a very little effect on the dependent variable, which is profit. And in the next tutorial, we are going to interpret the coefficients of the independent variables.